Uh, I welcome you all for today's webinar, which is about Service Desk Plus 9.0. So we are expecting the new version, the version 9, to be released sometime next week, and this is just a small brief up of the new features that are getting added in this particular version. So the agenda for today's webinar is going to be this. So these are going to be the new features that are going to be available in the version 9. The major enhancements are the ones in the change management module, in the software license management. And then we have some minor enhancements in service request. And then we have brought in new features like request trash, on-hold scheduler, Lucene search mechanism, and so on. So I'll start off with the enhancements in the change management module. So in the change management module, apart from the existing features, we have brought in new options like the change roles, status, and the stage, change workflows, change templates, notification, and so on. So the change roles are nothing but the access permission that can be defined for the different technicians. So the change roles are dynamic. That is, a change role assigned to a technician differs for each and every change request. Unlike the system roles that you give for the technician, uh, say change role can be assigned to both with the login as well as a non-login technician. So for example, a technician can be a cab member or a change manager in one particular change, and whereas he can be just a line manager or reviewer in another change. So apart from the default change that you see in here, you will also be able to go ahead and add your own customized change roles. So you can give in the name of the change role, and you can specify what is the level of access you want to give for each and every stages. So right now we have 6 stages in the change, and for each and every stage you can specify the level of access a technician has. I'll move on to the stage and the status. So the change life cycle involves 6 stages. It's exactly how it is right now. It's the submission, the planning, the approval, the implementation, the review, and the closure. All right. So these stage names can be customized by the customers, as well as each stage might have different statuses, right? Say, for example, in the submission stage, you might have some status like the change has been accepted or the change has been rejected. Whereas in the planning stage, you might have statuses like planning in progress or approved. So for each and every stage or each and every tab, you can have customized change status. So the change status are completely customizable, and you can also specify, or you can also configure certain notifications to be sent out. So in the submission stage, if the status is set to accepted, you can go ahead and notify the cab or the change manager or the change requester and so on. And then we have brought in the concept of change workflows. So it lets you configure your different processes. Say, as an organization, you might have the customers might have various kind of changes with different process and control, right? Say there might be a process that they use to replace a switch or a router, whereas there might be another process for some regular activities like changing the toner or some periodic maintenance and so on. So for these activities, you can have certain workflows configured. We'll take an example of an emergency change. So as soon as an emergency change is submitted, it can go directly to the implementation stage. Say as soon as the emergency change is submitted, once it has been accepted, you notify the change manager, you notify the cab members, and then you move it directly to the stage of implementation. So you skip the planning and the approval. So in the case of standard change, it'll go through submission, planning, you skip the approval, and then you go to the implementation. So these kind of workflows can be configured, and on each and every action in each and every stage, you can set up notifications to be sent out. So the screenshot you see here is going to be the ideal workflows that can be configured in Service Desk. So in in the submission phase. As soon as a change is requested and it's accepted, it goes to the next stage, planning. In case it gets rejected, you can go ahead and close that change, or if you need more information, it goes through the earlier stage once again. So this process can be followed for each and every stage. And then we have brought in the change templates as well. So the change templates, just like how we have for the incidents and the service catalogs, you'll be able to completely customize the template. So the layout is going to be similar. It's going to be the same canvas. You'll be able to drag and drop in the fields here. And apart from that, you have option to mark a template as an emergency. Also, you can go ahead and set it as a default change template. And these templates can be tied to workflows. So you can have a template and you can tie it to a workflow, so that when the technician selects the template, all he needs to do is just fill in the requester, the change requester, he submits the change, and it starts following the change process immediately. And we also have an option to duplicate these change templates, so that you don't have to go through the configuration all over again for similar looking templates. And also you can add additional fields for the change. So these are the major enhancements in the change management module. Apart from that, we have made a few small changes, like we have an option to trigger an asset scan. So when you might have some assets associated with a particular change, right? So when you go ahead and close a change, before closing it, you have a small checkbox wherein you can specify to trigger an asset scan, so that it goes ahead and scans all those assets involved. And then we have brought in new fields for the risk involved. And then we also have a new field added for the reason for the change. So this is mainly used for the reporting purpose. So by the end of the month, if you want to see why exactly all these changes were raised, you'll be able to pull reports based on it. And we have brought in change closure codes, in which you can capture the reason behind closing a particular change. And we have made some enhancements to the change closure rules as well. So this is pretty much with the changes or the enhancements to the change management module. I'll quickly move on to the software license enhancements. So in the software licensing, we have brought in the support for upgrade and downgrade of licenses. And also we have brought in the support for suite software licensing. And we also automatically detect the suite softwares during the scan. And we have the site-based software compliance. And we have enhanced the software license UIs. So it's more interactive and it's been made more user-friendly. So this is the UI for adding the downgrade rights for Microsoft Windows 7. So Microsoft Windows 7 might, using the same license, you might also be able to go ahead and install a Microsoft XP. You can use the same license key on an XP machine. So this is the downgrade license. So in the software license details, you'll be able to specify the downgrade rights. If you see below here, so Microsoft XP, it has the downgrade rights for the Microsoft Windows 7. And this is the license details UI. This pretty much looks how it is right now, but you have information about how many, you have information like whether it's a downgrade license or whether it's an upgrade license, and such information is captured in the license details UI. And in the list view, you'll be able to see whether any downgrade license is associated to the existing license. So in the list view, I see a Microsoft Windows 7, and there's a small icon next to it with a plus sign. Clicking on that will go ahead and list all the downgrade license it supports. And the downgrade or the upgrade license can also be added manually. So this is the manual edition of the software license window. So you'll be able to specify from where it has been upgraded from and where it's been upgraded to, and the rest of the information is captured. And I'll quickly move on to the suite licensing. So mainly in the case of Adobe and Microsoft Office, these comes in as suite licenses, right? So we have taken an example of Adobe. So we have Adobe Creative Suite 6, and these are all going to be the suite components, the Flash Professional, the Acrobat X Pro, the Adobe Audition. These are called as suite components, and you can have multiple suite components in a particular suite license. So once you set up this suite components, when you go to the license details page, this is how it's going to look. It'll go ahead and list all the suite softwares that has been found, the suite components, and all the workstations in which these suite licenses or these suite softwares has been installed. And in the list view, you'll be able to see the number of suite components installed in each and every workstation. So clicking on the number will give you the list of all the installed suite softwares. So we'll move on to the service request enhancements. This is one feature that has been requested by most of our users. So creating a service request from an incident. So usually what happens is you have an incident ticket, and then from an incident you manually create a service request, and there wasn't an option to link an incident and service request, right? So we have actually brought in an option wherein right from the incident you'll be able to generate a service request, and once you create it, it'll be automatically linked to the incident, and all the actions that you perform on linked tickets can also be performed in here. And the other new feature is going to be the request thrash. Uh, so right now when you go ahead and delete a ticket, we do not have an option to retrieve it. So in order to avoid that, we have brought in this feature wherein any tickets you delete will be moved to the thrash. So the thrash can be accessed from from the custom filters, like how you access your open, your on hold, your archive tickets. You have a filter for the thrash, and that will give you the list of all the deleted tickets. These deleted tickets will be present in this list for 24 hours, after which an automatic cleanup process runs in the background, and those tickets will be deleted. And the technician will also be able to access, they can view, they can delete, or they can restore the tickets in the thrash, and that is based on the roles. The other new feature we have included is the on-hold scheduler. Uh, you might have often come across times wherein there might be a requester who goes out of office and the technician puts the ticket on hold. But again, he might not be aware when exactly the requester is back, so he might not change the ticket status to open again, and it just remains on hold and so on. So to avoid such scenarios, we have brought in the on-hold scheduler, wherein when the technician, when he places the ticket on hold, he can also specify when exactly it should be reopened or when exactly the status should be changed to another one. So this is how it looks. So as soon as you place the ticket on hold, you have an option to specify what status it needs to change and when it needs to change. And we have brought in the Lucene search mechanism for the request module. So the Lucene search algorithm is one of the most robust search algorithms in market, and using this increases the accuracy of the search results, and also it improves the performance of the system, and also it increases the scalability. And we have brought in enhancements for the dashboards as well. So you'll be able to add in your own widgets. So how it works here is you can go ahead and create reports and can save the reports. And when you run a report, you get a new option that says add to dashboard. So when you click on this, you get a pop-up screen like you see on the screen right now. And you can say you can go ahead and make it a public widget, or you can make it a widget that's just for you. So this works mainly with matrix and custom reports. And currently we can have 10 widgets for the help desk page, and 16 widgets for the assets and the problem and the change pages. So You'll also, once created, from the dashboard, you'll be able to go ahead and delete the widgets that you do not want, and you'll be able to customize the reports as well. And we'll go through the other small features or other new features that will be available as a part of the version 9. So we have the CMDB API that will be available, and then we have reply mail status change. So how the reply mail status change works here is, currently when you click on the reply button, you get a pop-up, and then you send out an email, then you come back into the ticket and place the ticket on hold, right? So to avoid that, we have brought in an option to change the status right in the reply window. So as soon as you click on reply, you get a pop-up, and in the pop-up you can tap in the email you're going to send out, and before the send you also have a small drop-down list wherein you can select the status. So if the email gets sent out successfully, the status of the ticket can be changed to either closed or on hold, or whichever you have set. And we have also brought in the support for multi-currency, and have also brought in the association between service request to a purchase order. So when you get a service request, you can actually link it to a purchase order. And also we have brought in the dynamic content for reply template. So you'll be able to use variables in the reply template. So as soon as you just click on reply user template, you can just fill in the values from the different fields in the existing ticket. So these are the enhancements in the version 9, and probably if you have any questions, we can go ahead and take it up now.